Hello my dear friends, today we're here to talk about Dragon Quest Builders 2 and the struggle of loving an inaccessible game. This is a game that I played through last summer and it is truly a struggle because I really did love this game. It was so much fun. The storyline was great. The visuals were great with some exceptions. The crafting mechanic was great. I had seen they had made some big improvements from the first game, having listened to players who played the first game but wanted some things changed. They did that, and that is exactly why I'm making this video. Not that I expect it'll get into the developers' hands or anything, but should a Dragon Quest Builders 3 come out, I really would like to put my critiques of this game from a visual standpoint out into the universe in hopes that perhaps my desires will be heard. So the first thing we're going to talk about is what did I love about this game, because there was a lot that I really did love about this game. The crafting mechanic was great. The storyline was great. It had a nice variation in gameplay. It didn't really feel like throughout the game things had gotten stale, because at some point I was doing something different, whether I was building up a brand new island from scratch or I was helping rebuild an existing settlement somewhere. The entire premise of this game is there's this evil overlord that's taken over and builders are outlawed, and you're a builder, so you go through and you're trying to help different communities rebuild and fight off this evil bad guy, and that's pretty much the whole game. And then at the end of it, you get to build your own settlement. I'm making it sound incredibly basic. It's really not, but that's kind of the SparkNotes version of the game. So as I was going through different areas, I never really felt like I was getting bored. I was either rebuilding a farming area or I was helping battle off evil skeleton dudes and rebuild a castle. It was always something different. There were always new recipes to be found. There was always new things to learn, new things to do, and it really took a long time for me to get bored with this game. As a matter of fact, when Animal Crossing New Horizons was almost out and like 3 weeks away from being out, I was itching to play something with a crafting mechanic, so I sunk another 3 weeks into this game. It was great. It's a blast. I think one of my favorite things about the game is when you go visit mystery islands and there's always a random person's creation plopped in the middle of the mystery island. I always thought it was so cool getting to physically explore what other people built. You can go to other people's islands on the galleries and you can visit their islands and you can see what they've done and you can experience it and get ideas for your own island. I think that's fantastic. It's an amazing mechanic and it's so much fun to do. Overall, this is a truly very good game. I'm not going to dispute that. Square Enix nailed it with this game in almost every single aspect, except a few, which is what we're going to talk about. So let's talk about what I didn't like about this game, because it pretty much comes down to purely visual issues. My 100% biggest gripe about this game is that the font size is way too small. Y'all thought Breath of the Wild was small? Oh boy, don't even get me started on this one. It is embarrassingly small. And the thing that sort of confused me the most about this game is not shy on options. They added quite a few from the first game that let you customize your gameplay and the way you would like your character to run and to interact with certain things and the way you would like certain things in the game to look, as far as, do you want the water to be invisible or do you want to actually see the water? They give you a fair amount of options of how you want to play the game. And yet despite that, there is no accessibility settings as far as visuals go. You get changing the icon size from small to large, which I have mine on large and that's already pretty small, so I'd hate to see what small looks like. And that's mostly it, honestly. There are no options to change the freakishly small font size. There are no options for a screen reader, and the game isn't voice acted in the slightest. So you're kind of left with this sort of experience where you're constantly straining to try and see what's on the screen as far as what's being said. No one would argue that in the cutscenes it might be easy enough just to zoom in on the text, or in certain dialogue scenes you could just zoom in on the text. But when you're in the middle of a battle and your partner is saying something, you can't really stop to zoom in to find out what they're saying. And the damage counter for the damage that you're doing is significantly larger than the text for what the character is saying, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, to be honest. So basically you're left with a really difficult game to try and navigate when everything is really small that you have to be able to read. That's not the nicest, especially when you don't have a screen reader. If Minecraft can pull off a screen reader, I'm pretty sure Square Enix and all their infinite power can manage to make it work for the Dragon Quest series. I'm just saying. And this game came out just about a year ago, maybe just under a year ago, so it's not an old game that we can use the excuse of, oh well, you know, accessibility didn't really exist back then. Granted, accessibility is still not where it should be for visuals or really any type of disability, but less than a year ago is not that long ago. And with the amount of options that they added in, I think they could have added in some text size options at minimum. I don't think that would have been too difficult. So that brings me to my next point, which is if they were to do a Dragon Quest Builders 3, and I sincerely hope that they do, what could they do differently from a visual standpoint to make the game more accessible for blind and low vision players? Well, me being a more so on the low vision side of things, I'm not going to speak about what fully blind players might want, because what they want is going to potentially differ from what I want and might be more vast than what I want or need. So from a low vision standpoint, we've been saying it this whole video, larger text size options. Like, come on, really? Just do it. It can't be that difficult, honestly. With the amount of gameplay and DLC that they put into this, I think you can manage some larger text size. Secondly, screen reader options, which brings me back to the Minecraft point. If Minecraft did it, Square Enix can do it. And for a game that's not voice acted, I think having a screen reader would have made this game infinitely better and infinitely easier to play and infinitely more enjoyable. It's just my opinion, but I think a screen reader would have made a massive difference, especially combined with the larger text size options. Those are the two biggest things that I think they could have improved the most. Obviously, there are other small improvements that could come into play, like color blindness accessibility, or adding in or changing audio cues, or directional cues to make them easier for people who have less vision or who are colorblind. But for me personally, having those two settings would have just made the game 1,000 times better for me. And considering it's a game that I already really like, it would have pushed it into my top 3 favorite games of all time. So, Square Enix, if by some grace of heaven, somebody on the development team for Dragon Quest Builders 3, which has not been announced, but if it has, and you're watching this video or this video makes it into your eyeline somehow, please, screen readers, text size options at minimum. That is my wish. That is my hope. I'm putting it out in the universe. That's all I can really do. I'm just gonna put it out in the universe. I mean, first I have to put it out in the universe that I want a Dragon Quest Builders 3, but I've been secretly sort of doing that since I finished the second one anyway. So I'm still kind of hoping. It's been almost a year since the last one. That means it could be almost time to announce a third game, right? Never know. Either way, that is my hope. That is my wish. That's my experience with the game. This is not a game that I can in good conscience recommend from an accessibility standpoint to my low vision and blind users. This is not a game that I can say, yeah, go out and buy it. You'll be able to play it. Can I say it's a great game? Yes. Can I say it's a well-made game? Yes. Can I say that I had a ton of fun with it? Yes, 1,000 times yes. But can I say that it's accessible and recommend that my viewers go pick it up and play it? No. If you want to do that, by all means, do it. But I can't sit here and say that it's 100% playable, that you're not going to have massive issues, that you're not going to have to sit 6 inches from the screen to play it and still get frustrated because you miss text that's on the screen. That's not something I can tell you. What I can tell you is that I see a lot of potential within the franchise. I see potential that there could be a third game. I see potential that they could expand the settings even more. With the amount that they expanded them from the first game to the second game, I mean, I don't see why that's not possible. But am I going to say go buy it? No. Loving an inaccessible game is a major struggle. Being left out of something that you really want to do because of something you don't have control over is a big struggle. It sucks. So that's honestly why this channel exists in the first place, is 1, to try and help people like me find games that they can play, but 2, hope that maybe developers somewhere will possibly see my videos and think that maybe some changes could be made, some positive changes. Because quite frankly, I like spending money on video games. So don't leave out an entire market of people because you don't want to make some bigger font size options. So with that said, I ask you, have you played Dragon Quest Builders 2? What was your experience with it? How much did you struggle? What would you like to see from a third game as far as accessibility goes? What do you think they could add in to make the game more accessible? I'd love to hear your thoughts down in the comments below. If you're new here, welcome. I am the Tiny Mouse Girl, and I would love it if you would subscribe. Also, if by chance you're interested in following me on social media, my information is down in the description box below if you want to. Don't have to, but it's up to you. And with that said, I hope you guys are safe, healthy, and happy, and having a great day, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye, guys.